what would you tell that student to prepare them?
And I would recommend to them, number one, if they need help, come back to the school. We still here.
This is Strengthen My Story, where we have some very personal conversations to help you, the listener, get through your own trials and tribulations. So this is a conversation with
Ricky Jones.
Ricky Jones. Even though he told me not to, he said only first names. He told me don't give no last names. So
Okay.
he gave me the green light now.
Okay.
So what do you do?
I'm a teacher.
And where you teach at?
Here in Detroit at an alternative high school.
Alternative high school. What's an alternative high school?
Well, it's different than the traditional high school, but our high school is there to help students in credit recovery.
Credit recovery. What do you mean by that?
So by a certain grade, they're supposed to have so many credits to be considered a freshman and so forth and so on, junior and senior. And when they don't achieve those credits, then our school offers them an opportunity to recover the credits, and then they can return back to their regular high school.
Okay. How many schools, alternative schools, are there within the city of Detroit?
Well, there's only one, like the one where I work at, but we have several little center-based schools, and those are for special needs kids.
So your school is not for special needs kids?
No, it's for all.
It's just for everybody?
All, for everybody.
Okay. Do you think there needs to be more? Like, do you feel like it's overwhelming, or it's too many?
I think there should be one. Yeah, I think there should be one on the east side and one on the west side.
So right now it's just one on the
west side.
One on the west side.
And the problem with that is students who need credit recovery that live far east, they have to come west. And sometimes the parent doesn't have a car, and the only transportation, the child has to ride the bus, or they have to get there on their own.
Nah, that's kind of weird. The city of Detroit is big.
Yeah.
It's huge, actually.
Yes.
If you just go up and go down up, 8 Mile, it's a nice little trek.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me these kids have to come from the east side and go to the west side, and
Yes.
it's either via what? Parents?
Some
bus
Uber, some take the D-Dot bus. Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yes. But we do give them a bus card every month.
Do appreciate the bus card.
What are bus fares right now? I ain't been on a bus in quite a while.
I think
Because, I don't know, for students, I think with their ID card, I think it's like 50 cents or something.
Okay,
like
so
that.
it's still cheap. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
for students.
For students, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, that's still. I wonder what it is for adults. I got to figure that out. I got to check that in. So you work at an alternative school. Is it middle school and high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No elementary.
No elementary.
Okay. I'm like, dang, elementary. I would hope that elementary kids would need recovery.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they.
I guess. Hey, chime in. Let parents let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe we do need one for elementary.
In your opinion, how's it going? Right. So you've been in this for how long?
Well, I started at West Side Academy.
Okay.
That's what the name of the original credit recovery school was.
Okay.
And then in 2023, we merged with Detroit Lions, which was on the east side.
Okay.
And so they came over, and now we're housed in the old Murray Wright High School, what we're called.
Snuck the name out of you because at first you didn't want to say it.
I didn't want to say it.
But it's hey,
It's all right. It is what it is.
At the end of the day, we are trying to find ways to better our educational system.
Yes.
And it offers the children at least a way to get their high school diploma, so they can start with something. Yeah.
Okay, so what got you into teaching?
Well, wow. That was decades ago. Once I graduated from college in '85, there weren't that many jobs from where I was from. I'm from down south, North Carolina. And so I was working at a job processing photos, earning $3.35 an hour. Yes. And then
What year was this?
This was 1985.
$3.
That was the minimum wage. Yes.
Okay.
And I had family here in Detroit, and they knew I had recently graduated, and they asked me, hey, why don't you come up here and you can become a substitute teacher? And I was like, yeah, if it's, and they said you would earn, I think it was $79 a day.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, because that was a lot of money in 1985.
Yeah.
And I went for it, packed up my little bit of stuff, and I moved up here with my cousins. And I got here in August of 85, and I started in November of 1985 as a substitute teacher.
Wow.
And I've been going ever since.
Wow. Wait, so what stint was, because you were in the, you were a vet.
Yes, I'm a
So
veteran.
that was before 85, right?
No, that was after.
After, okay,
After
wait.
85.
So you move up here, become a substitute.
Yes.
And how did the Army come in there?
Well, the Army has always been a desire of mine. As a young man at that time in my 20s, I had several things I had hoped to accomplish. One was go to college. Two was to come to a big city, get a good job.
Check.
And
even though you came from the warmth to the cold, but I give you respect.
Yeah, and the Army came in, like I said, it was internal with me that I wanted to, because my dad and brother had went, so I wanted to be like my dad and brother. But also, my degree was only in journalism, and I wanted to teach. So in order for me to get the money to teach, I fell in love with the GI Bill. So I was hitting two birds with one stone, following the family tradition and getting the GI Bill money. Yes. And but at the time I was dating my ex-wife, and she worked at General Motors. And so the agreement was she would continue to work at General Motors. I would go hop off in the Army, do these little 2 years, and get my GI Bill, come back, and boom, boom.
Cool. So you was in the Army for 2 years?
No, I was in the Army for more than that.
So the plan was 2 years.
2 years, but then I re-enlisted for 2 more.
Okay, so you ended up doing 4.
Yeah, but they minimize it and say 3.85, like that. Yeah.
Okay.
What made you kind of want to be done? You didn't want to potentially stay a little longer?
No.
Well, at that time, my wife and I were having issues, and we had just finished with Desert Storm. And at that time, I just decided I don't want to be in the position again where somebody has control of my life. And I didn't like that anymore, so I was ready to get out.
Gotcha.
And so the opportunity to get out came with, after Desert Storm, Bush decided to reduce the forces. So I got out on a reduction in force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back home.
Yeah.
You go right back into teaching.
Yep. Go back right into teaching. It wasn't enough because I had a family now, young son and an older son, And so what I did was, I did this for about 2 years, was I worked at the VA from 3:30 to midnight, come home, get a little bit of sleep, get up, and go substitute in Detroit public schools. I did that for the money, because the money was a little bit better than the VA at the time, but I did the VA for the medical insurance.
It's crazy how much we got to do just to get what we owed.
That's right.
Yeah, it's tough. I think every job should have great insurance. I think every job should have great benefits.
True.
But it's not the case.
No.
It's tough. You, for some odd reason, you got to give up something.
Yeah.
When you go into a particular job, that's interesting.
And
okay,
that
so
was family time I had to give up.
Got you. Okay, so you work in 2 jobs. You're a teacher and you're working at Veteran Affairs. Right? When was the breaking point for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna just continue to just teach?
The breaking point was that I decided to stop teaching
Ah.
because I couldn't take it anymore.
Okay.
You know, I was like working 2 full-time jobs. And I couldn't take it anymore. And so I decided just to do the VA. And by the time I got on, like I said, I already had insurance. We just lived off of my income. So, yeah.
Okay. So, what year was this? Where you stopped? You say,
This was around,
because how long did you do the 2 jobs?
I only did it for 2 years.
2 years? And then
So
you
I
quit
would
teaching?
say like from 92 to like 94.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you quit teaching. When do you end up going back?
I went back after I graduated from Wayne State,
What year was that?
2006.
2006. So that was, what is that, a 6 or 6 year gap?
Yeah, from the 90s till then. Because also during that period, which I don't want to mention it, but my wife and I divorced. So all of that was going on. And
During the time where you wasn't teaching.
Right. All of that was going on and trying to deal with that and get myself established and yada, yada.
So you got all this time where you was like, I ain't teaching. I'm gonna take a little break from that. I gotta handle this at home. What makes you come back? What makes you just make the decision to go back into being a teacher?
Because that was my ultimate goal. I wanted to be a teacher, and the only way to be that was to get my license. And the only way to get your license, you have to go back to school. And I needed money. So, yeah.
You had a journalism degree, right?
Yeah, I had a job.
So you had a 4-year, but you didn't have a teacher.
I didn't have the teaching credential.
Yeah, we know how serious they got. One thing about being a teacher, they be like, you gotta have it.
You gotta
have them.
Yeah.
You gotta have that paperwork, boy. They be tripping about that paperwork.
Thank you.
But hey, no, it's what separates. It's funny how they don't want to pay teachers a whole bunch, but they make you go through a lot to get certified as one.
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting how that works out. Okay, so you go back to teaching, but you had this moment where you started out as a substitute. You started out coming back out, from the Army and jumped right back into it, working 2 jobs. You took a break, took almost a 6-year break. Then you jumped right back into it. Why you want to be a teacher?
Once I started
love that you have?
substituting, once I was a substitute, I saw the need. And it felt comfortable. It felt like, because while I was in my undergrad, oh, you're going to become a teacher, Rick. You're going to become a teacher. But I was young. No, I'm not. I ain't going to be no teacher. Nah.
I did the same thing.
And then I became a teacher. But what really drew me into it was when I started doing it and working with the kids, and I saw their needs. And I saw that I had the mind and the heart to be there to help them as a teacher. And so that was my goal. I had found my niche, teaching.
So you use the word need. That's an interesting word. Why? What was the need? Can you describe the need? Because you've been in education since the 90s.
Right.
You're 2026, so you got some time. Even though you took a gap, you still have pretty much almost
40 years.
40 years of education. So you say need. What do you feel education and these kids in this current demographic, this current setup, what do you feel they need now?
Well,
versus then? What did you like?
Oh, what they need now?
Yeah, what they need now versus what. So what did they need then?
The same that I think they need now. They need to see positive black men, positive role models, educated black men that are in that position. And the research says even if there's only one black man in a school building, black kids being able to see him is impactful. They're more likely to finish, even though that's what the research says. So my goal, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
So my goal was to be that. I wanted to be there, and I'm a nurturer. Yeah. So I wanted to be there to help them, and I had many of them write me letters saying they wish they could have me for their father. I still have some of those letters, and that helped to spur me on, like, goodness, I'm really doing something.
Yeah.
So I decided to stick with it.
Why do you feel that there is such a absence or lack of black men black educators within this educational system?
Well, stereotype, the stigma going along with teachers. Most say I can't take care of kids, I can't, do this, because let's face it, I did not want to teach below fourth grade.
Okay.
The little ones were, for me, I couldn't organize that well. You have to be really organized to work K to 3, and even at 4, but 4 is more manageable for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that along not seeing teaching as a fruitful career. Horror stories that say teachers don't get paid much, but you have to come to terms where you can't do it for the money. You have to do it, number one, because you love doing it and you love what you're doing, helping the kids. And when you can see that success, it feels great. It feels like you had an impact on their life, especially when they do well.
Yeah. So
you mentioned stereotypes, pay. An interesting statement from peers, fellow teachers, fellow female teachers who may think that men don't have the nurturing necessary to be teachers.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, stereotypes, pay,
Yeah.
and I guess that can go right in the stereotypes, but the lack of understanding if a male can do it, because again, you said the lack of black
Men.
black men within education, not the lack of white men within education.
I say that because most of the schools that I've worked at were majority African American students.
Yes.
So they needed to see teachers that looked like them, that understood them, and where they came from. We understood because we came from the same place. So we understood. That presented the problem where others that did not come from the same place, again, I base it on research, has shown that they looked at the kids through a different lens. Why can't Sharquan sit down like Elizabeth did when I was at that school? If you understand what I'm saying.
It's similar to the statement they make about how it's better to have police officers who are from the community and from the neighborhood because they understand certain things. So when certain situations happen, they're like, well, I know the grandmother. Right. I'm gonna go talk to her to see what's going on. Yes. So no, you're right in saying that. Okay, so let's talk about the pay. You ain't got to give particular numbers. I ain't trying to be all in your pocket, but I'm curious though, because we live in a world where a basketball player or a professional athlete, okay? Now, I'm not trying to diminish what a basketball player, baseball player, football player can do. Amazing. But how do we live in a world where a basketball player can make millions of dollars in a year, but an average teacher salary is what? Like, what is the average teaching salary?
Well, I can only speak for Detroit.
Yep.
And we're under a new superintendent, and they've been in there for a couple of years now, 3 or 4. Vitti, Dr. Vitti, yes. And so he revamped the system, and where, if I'm not mistaken, a first-year teacher starts out at 55. At 55, yes. And that was way better than when I started. Yeah. It was only like 20.
Yeah, I think when I started because I started in education about 24. And I remember there was I think she was a 4th grade teacher. Or maybe it was 3rd grade. It was either 3rd or 4th grade. She had to work 2 jobs. So she was a bartender. Yes. And she was a teacher. Yes. Because at that point in time, she was only making like 40. Like 40 something. Yes. Like, that's not enough.
It's not enough.
And so, like, right now, you said the intro is 55?
55 now within Detroit Public Schools.
So, okay, so that's the intro. That's the first year.
Right. But as you move up, you can go
all the way up to 94.
94. How do you get to what's the time frame for the 94?
They're set up on increments, in steps, like every 2 years you might move up, or something like that. I haven't really looked at the steps because, like I said, when VD was there, it was the old step that took you all the way up to, I think, step 12 or step 15 or something. So he got rid of all of that, and this
he got rid of the step system.
We still have the steps, but it's not. It won't take you that long to get to the top pay, right? Okay. And so, but when he revamped it about 3 years ago, however he did it, but especially because I'm a special ed teacher or ESC teacher, he bumped all of us up to the top. So we were all ESC teachers, special ed teachers, were earning 94. If you had been teaching in the district for a while. But if you're new, of course, you start at the 55.
You start at the 55.
Yeah. But he made it also more bountiful by attaching a $15,000 grant to it. That if you work with special ed kids, you get an extra $15,000
on top of what
top of what you're doing. So that really put me in the pay range of earning over $100,000. Never done that before as a teacher. So it feels good, but it's still. But I wasn't there for the bonus. Yeah, it helped. But we're being told, because I guess it was COVID money, and that's running out. And so, I guess he's putting it out there. He hasn't said it officially, but during other meetings with him, board meeting, he said that we may not offer the $15,000 next school year. So
you'll lose the 15.
Yeah, you won't get it. But I'm still hoping we do.
In your opinion, right? So this is where I offer an opportunity if somebody's looking at this, be like, well, how do we fix these things, right? So if you had the opportunity to say what a teacher should make, given how many years you've been doing it, how many supplies you've bought, how many situations you've been in where you've seen kids walk into your school and they need certain things. What do you think, if you're a teacher that cares, if you're a teacher that's eager, what do you think is the proper number for an intro teacher, or even a teacher that's been in there 5, 6, 10 years?
I mean, everybody has an entry point, because you're first year teacher just is not going to earn what a 15-year teacher will earn, because you have to start and you have to build your way up. Everybody, and that's in any job. But to answer your question, I don't know. It deals with the funding, because out in most of the suburbs they get more money because they pay more taxes on the houses and all of that, which I think Detroit should have the best schools because we're paying more taxes here.
We got to touch on that.
Yeah, we do, but that's how the count day comes in. So, and but still, back to answering your question, I think it's gonna have to be a mindset change, because had it not been for a teacher, the basketball player wouldn't have been able to earn that $1 million. Especially now in this day and age, that education is attached to them becoming a pro.
But why hasn't it changed? Like I done seen teacher strikes for as long as I can remember. This issue of pay has been an issue for a very long time. Why does it seem the United States, because I can't speak for anywhere else, why does it seem that the United States doesn't value teachers enough to give them a salary that's worth the effort that they put in as educators?
Again, I think is a long-standing view of teachers. If you look at the history of teaching here in America, they were just mostly all women. There were certain rules. I've even seen some historical documents from Detroit public schools from back in the early 1900s where The women could not, they couldn't be married, which was crazy. Of course, they could never be pregnant.
Yeah.
So, all of those constraints, a lot of those things have been lifted now. But still, the belief is that, oh, you're just a teacher. You're just a teacher, and it's not viewed as it's not viewed on the same level as a pro football player. We're just a teacher. We don't even get the love that a doctor gets. Even though we're there nurturing those of us that are committed to our job, we're there creating, shaping, molding, inspiring minds to think beyond their limit, which creates the scientists, the lawyers, the doctors, every other profession. Without teachers, we make all the other professions possible, but it's the view. They don't, seems like they don't value us as much as they do. I can see a doctor, but like a football player, some sports figure.
Yeah.
And it does bother me because I'm like, wow.
It definitely seems like the United States is okay with paying more for entertainment than for education.
True.
Now, but you brought up something that was interesting, and it made me have a thought. Because you made mention to, back in the 1900s, they didn't, most of the teachers were women.
White women.
Given what we know about our country's history.
Right.
I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that it's able to fly to give teachers less money because most teachers are women? So would you say that because of the numbers of how many women are teachers, and it's primarily because most of the teachers that I've had very few male teachers. I literally can count on my time in elementary, middle, and high school. I may have had 5.
Right.
I may even go 6.
That's true.
Out of like 30 to 40 women or female teachers.
Right.
So it's definitely not, and this is, I can't even count so far as African American, like, 'cause I would just say like I've only had 2 in my entire life so far as in elementary, middle, and high school.
Right.
Matter of fact, the high school that I was at, it was a primarily white high school. I went to Rochester Hills High School. I only had 1 black teacher.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that he had to move away. He couldn't be outwardly black. You have to lessen your blackness in those situations.
Some do and some don't.
And some don't.
Yeah,
and that's a choice you make.
Yeah, it's a choice you make.
It's something that whatever you feel most comfortable in.
Right.
And it's sad that we have to have that kind of balance. Yeah, and it's hard.
Blend in.
But okay, so we have a situation where teachers are paid less, and there's a potential that it may be because it's a woman's profession.
I agree with you. Yes.
So would things change if more men were to walk into education?
Yes, without a doubt. If more men would flood the field of education, because it's that belief. Men are the breadwinners. They need to get paid. I see it in the research, but I didn't really think about it. But it's the truth. If more men would flood education, the pay would go up higher.
I'm gonna jump in that same lane, but I'm gonna go left a little bit. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
Okay.
What would happen if more black men, in your opinion, what would happen if more black men started to go into education?
Well, number one, that will be a great thing, especially for the kids that are in school that look like them, that don't have a positive male role model in their life. I think it would look great. Now, there probably would be some pushback. The pay may not escalate that high that fast, but you understand why.
Yes.
But if it was
There's 2 things against you in that.
Right. You got 2 things going against you.
It's interesting because I've been a part of that scenario where I've had students reference me as their father.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
And that's so interesting to me because this hasn't just happened to me one particular school with one particular student.
Right.
This has happened often.
Yes.
And it's mostly happened with young girls.
Yeah, they need to.
So it's like, okay, when we start to talk about the demographic of a black family, and you start to have conversations, because one of the things I used to bring up often, I said, you know, the numbers may say that there's more white men in prisons over black men. That's what some numbers show.
Okay.
But the impact of our absence of black men in families,
Yes.
that absence is greater.
Yes.
So yes, the numbers.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point that you brought up.
Because
It is.
obviously there's more white people. There's more white males than black males within the United States.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, by numbers you'll trump us. But our impact in our families when you remove us is greater.
It's greater.
So
Impacting so many areas, and it almost seems like it's by design.
Yeah.
Takes away our vote.
Yep.
The family life, just to have that male figure around. Yeah, it impacts a lot, and I do believe it's by design.
Definitely by design.
It's
by design.
Definitely by design, because when you look at a lot of situations that have happened, from the crack epidemic to you know, Bill Clinton's 3-strike law, like when you look at these things that impacted black African American men within the United States,
Right.
it affected a lot of families. So the fact that you have two individuals, and myself and you, who have been in education for a number of years, and we've come across students, primarily young ladies, and yes, I've had boys too, but mostly young ladies, reference me or want me to be their father.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna sit up here because somebody would be like, well, that's happened to me and they had a father, without a doubt. But we talking about the ones who don't.
Right.
Or we're talking about the ones who
Even
do.
the ones who do.
And they're absent.
Right. They're absent. Maybe.
They're looking and searching for something. So clearly, there's an absence. There's a need.
They're young
People, they're always searching.
Yes.
And if they can't find it at home, well, then school is the next place that we try to instill some type of normalcy into their lives.
These kids spend more time in their younger years. These kids spend more time in school than they do at home.
Yes, they do. But the impact of when they leave school and go back home is far greater. We have to repeat it every day. We have to keep drilling it in, because when they leave from us and they go back to the situation that they're in, then it's all out the window.
Home life. Me and you had a conversation about how a lot of parents find it hard to label their kids with certain things like autism.
Yes.
Or some type of learning disability, ADHD.
True.
They find it hard to label their kids because they don't want them to have some stigmatism. They don't want as parents to be looked at away.
Right.
And then they don't want their kids to be looked at away.
Exactly.
Could you kind of speak, you know, because we had that conversation. We kind of see, like, explain to the viewer, why is it so hard, or why do you keep hitting this brick wall when it comes to helping our kids get more help within the classroom?
True.
One thing, there's a great number, and I'm only speaking for here in the city of Detroit, which may mimic what it is nationwide. It's a cycle. Most of the time, the parents aren't educated themselves. So that provides an impact. But even with educated parents, they still don't want their child to be labeled that way. It's difficult. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I was a teacher and I knew what to do. And but when my son started acting out in school, you know, we looked at everything. We thought he was just misbehaving. He wasn't doing this. You know, he got counseled and all of this. And when everything else failed, and that's, now that I think about it, I never got the chance to authorize my son to be evaluated. My ex-wife did. So, but that was fine. But he got evaluated, and they said he had ADHD. Now, I'm the teacher. I'm like, nah, not my son. Yeah, you aren't doing something right in the school. What are you doing? However, me being an educator and I know the laws of special ed, I told the school I want him to be tested outside, and they had to pay for it. So number one, that put a few strikes on me because I'm taking away money from their fund.
Yeah.
But the law says I have a right, and I did. I took him to be retested, and I was okay with it, but he used a lot of what the school. I wanted him to do it fresh.
Yeah.
And he claimed that he did, but he still referenced some of it. But it took me, and it did hurt me, because I did not want my son to be labeled as that. And my input kept him off of that Ritalin. And I helped to introduce, it's a multimodal treatment program with school, family, and therapy. Now, we followed through on the other part. He just didn't get the third part. I put him in Sylvan, and he was in Sylvan for 2 years. And I'm telling you, that was not a penny. It was like I had to go into my retirement fund. Like I was paying for his college tuition, but that was because I wanted my child to have the best. I wanted him to be able to move above what he had missed, you know, so that he could be out in the world. I wanted him to be successful.
Yeah.
So it goes with the parents. Nobody wants to find out that their child has a disability.
Yeah.
But once you accept it and try to go along with it, and you look at some of the causal factors, about how it may have come, you begin to accept it.
So do you regret anything with that? Would you change anything? Would you go back and change that?
No, I wouldn't change anything that I fought for him. No.
Well, I'm saying
Excuse
so far
me.
as the labeling, would you have?
You mean me feeling that way?
Yeah.
Yes, I would change it, especially now that I'm deep into working with special needs kids.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say I'm a clinician, but because of my history and my experiences, you know, it's not that hard to look at a kid and I can detect something.
Yes.
You know, not that I, you know, but you have to go through the proper channels. But you can tell. I'm like, something ain't right.
What happens when Detroit parents, right? You just speak, you know, from your experience with Detroit. So, Detroit parents, what happens when they say, you know what, nope, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with you labeling my child, and they just say no, and they simply allow the child to move as if there's nothing going on.
Right.
What happens to funding, in your opinion, in that situation?
Well, I mean, from what you just said, our
I'm
goal
leading you somewhere.
is to do what's best for the child.
Yes.
And we don't even look at funding like that. We do what's best for the child. Once we determine that a child is struggling, I can't get the word out. We begin to provide accommodations, even without an IEP, because we want to see the child succeed. And if we determine that all of the interventions, that's the word I was looking for, if the interventions aren't working, you know, then we go to the parent. Look, mom, we've tried this. Your child is still struggling. They're here in school every day, you know, We've tried everything. We want to know, do you mind if we evaluate your child? And we have to get the parents permission to do that.
Yes.
Still no money is involved, not yet. So once we do that, and it is like proven that the child has some type of disability, then they're given an IEP, and then that's when the state and the government gets involved.
Gotcha.
And they say, okay, you got another student, here's another whatever $10,000, and the state sends this, and like that. So yes, it does impact funding, but I don't want your audience to think that it's just done to get more money in. No.
My first opportunity to deal with special needs individuals, special needs students in particular. I worked at a special needs school, but it was post high school.
Okay.
So it was for 18 to 26 year olds.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I didn't know they had programs like this. It was like, kind of on job training and different household life type classes.
Yes.
And that's not by design, that's by law.
Yeah.
That's by law.
Okay.
Once a child is, just saying they have a disability, the IEP is good until they're 26.
Okay.
Till they're 26, because there's still some that are still struggling. So,
Are there any post high school programs within the city of Detroit?
yes, that's Charles Drew.
Okay.
Their kids are like in their 20s and older, because some of them are they have much more of a severe disability.
Got it.
And they need that before they're not ever let go. But they get lifetime support.
Gotcha.
Not from the district,
Yeah.
but there's other agencies like Michigan Rehabilitation Services.
Oh, wow.
They help any child with an IEP, funded by the state and the government, which again, I get all of my kids signed up for it. But then there's a stigma, right, even along with that. I don't want to be a part of that. But we're trying to tell you they can help you and show you how, but which brings up another point, and I see what you're saying. You can keep going on, but it brings up another point. The stigma is still there.
Yes.
The student has been stigmatized.
Yes.
So no, I don't need no special help. I don't want to do that. I want to go to Wayne State.
Yeah.
And so we even tell them, okay, we'll create the IEP that says what your accommodations are.
Yeah.
And when you go, if you make it into Wayne State, you take your IEP to the disability office, and they will provide you with accommodations.
One thing I noticed in working with that particular population, what they believe they can do, the world doesn't think they can do it. And I'm talking about the 18 to 26.
Right.
Like after, you get out of high school. I would say that most high schools, I haven't had an opportunity within the city of Detroit, but a lot of high schools within like Sterling and Clinton and even when you go even deeper in the burg, they have programs for special needs students or special needs individuals within their schools. They just, go to their own kind of class, or they may pop around. But after they graduate, though, and they go to a program similar to that, it's as if they're treated like kids still. And I think it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. There are some individuals that know you can't do certain things.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can't do other things. I think the limitations that they put on them, like I saw a commercial on Instagram. And mind you, I've worked in this type of environment, and it's autistic and different, other learning disabilities. And the commercial was like, they were working a job. It was like kind of a job type venue that they were working at. Like it was kind of like a kitchen type environment.
Right.
And it was like, they think we can't do stuff, but we can.
Yes.
We can do this, we can do that. Like we deserve better jobs, because a lot of the jobs that I would see these kids get, these young adults get, cleaners, fast food jobs.
Yeah, and I see that with some of the more severe disabilities. But the ones that are maybe learning disabled,
Yeah.
emotionally impaired,
Yeah.
they're educable. They just have to learn. I used to tell my learning disabled students, you have to look at it like this. In your brain, you're trying to learn your math and reading, but there's a block there.
Yeah.
My job is to teach you how to go around that block so that you can be educable just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's most of the intent. But to be honest with you, I mean, many of them, they don't want the help. They just, when they leave high school, they're ready for the world. And that's good. I'm glad they have that view that I can do this and do that. But it's like I tell them, we're still here. Your IEP is still good. You can still get help if you get out there and find.
Two things. What would you say to a parent struggling in this situation, wondering if she should get her son or daughter tested, and being confused if it's going to hurt them or help them? What advice would you give to that parent to help them, to kind of push them towards, not push them over the edge, because that phrase always throws me, push them closer towards helping? How would you push them closer to that? What would you say to them? What advice would you give?
When you say the parent helping or me as
the parent, because I'm the second part. Yeah, the second part to that, because I'm gonna say, because you mentioned how the student is ready to go to the world. Like they're good. They don't need. They're ready to go because they don't want that label. The same way a parent doesn't want that label on their child. So my question to you, my two-part question: one, what advice or what type of conversation would you have with the parent to help them make that decision to get their child tested, look into options, seek more help? What type of conversation, what does that look like? What would you say to that parent?
For that particular type parent that has that concern and interest, then the field is wide open. That means, number one, in the home. What are you doing at home? Is Johnny at the TV? Is he on the cell phone? Is he playing video games late at night? Or is he sleeping well? Is he getting a good meal? Are you making sure he's doing his homework? And are you sitting there with him to let the child know that mom is interested in your education? So let me see your homework. And then, I would refer her to other organizations that can provide support, that can help that. But the parent is parent driven. The parent driven. And I just want your audience to know I'm not an aficionado on special ed, even though I'm trained in it and have been doing it. And I'm not a spokesperson for the district either. I'm just sharing my beliefs. And that's how I would do a parent that is concerned about their child being labeled. But I would give them options. I would show them what we can do here at the school. We can provide extra work packets to take home for homework. But, ultimately, the home is the first place a child learns. The home. And sadly, many kids who are victims of socioeconomic conditions, they don't get that. Many of them come to school blank, and that impacts the teacher because then they have to go and start it off. But again, remember now, when they leave and go back to the home and they, mama may be doing this and that everything is lost, thereby causing the child to fall behind. It happens every day in our district, but we have no control over it. We do what we can do. Now, for the parent that is agreeable with it, well, by that time, I would have shown her the data. These are the state and district assessments your child has taken. He's been given a reading, benchmark test to see what his reading level is. He may be in the 5th grade, but he can barely do pre-K. That doesn't mean he's still special ed. But that's why, again, I use the term multimodal. It's a whole evaluation team. They evaluate speech, occupational therapy, social work, and the psychology part, and any other, specific thing the child may be presented with that they need to be evaluated. And from that team evaluation, a determination is made. Yes, he's eligible under these conditions, or no, he's not.
Second part. What conversation would you have with a kid right at the brink of graduating? Who they're ready to hit the world. They've had a somewhat successful time throughout the school. But they're gonna hit some roads. They're gonna hit some bumpy roads. They're gonna hit some challenges.
You're still, you can't be enrolled, but I can help you with resources. If you can't find what you're looking for or whatever, I know places to direct the child to, which we do that, to help them if they come, if they do that.
Yeah.
But most don't come back.
Why?
Because they're in the world. They're 18, 19, 20, popping it, having fun, living life at home. Some may get a job at McDonald's or something like that. Eventually they'll get something, but the goal is, you see where you are, is to get them to hunger for more. But you see, with that hunger for more, you got to do what it takes to get what you're looking for. Same thing I tell my son. You want to have all of this, but you know what it's going to take. You've been working now, you're 35, and you have to embellish yourself. You have to fix yourself up more so that you can get into society to make more money. But the resources are there.
Yeah.
The resources are there, especially for the teenagers. Now, if I had one thing I would like to see my district's vocational program to become more vibrant.
What do you mean by vocational program?
Say again?
What do you mean by vocational program?
Well, we have Bright Hawk. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Man, they have cosmetology, culinary arts, automotive mechanics. And so some of the students that are at the regular high schools, Cass, Renaissance, King, all of those, they get to partake of that. And half of the day they're at school, and the other half they're learning a skill for job preparation.
Okay.
It's just not open to my school because we're alternative. We're alternative. And but you got to look at it now. Those are the kids that have been struggling.
Yes. So they don't get the same opportunity.
I don't want to say they don't get the same opportunity, but their time is, we're trying to help them to graduate.
Yeah. Well, I guess on both sides of that. One, the student wasn't serious enough.
All right.
Or, again, had some struggles that parents didn't vocally speak out about, and they just kind of laid low
and let the child swing by. And it got to a point where, we still have parents that aren't bringing their child to school. And I'm appalled by it, but like my social worker says, Mr. Jones, this has been going on. And even though I'm thinking with things like child find, like when you take your son to the doctor, I'm sure the doctor does, because the doctor is a part of child find. If they notice something that the child isn't growing or isn't reaching certain milestones, then their job is to tell it to the parent and then give recommendations. And one of those probably would be is to contact your local school district, because once that's, even if the child is just 2 years old and they've determined to have a disability, Detroit Public Schools is involved right at the start. But that's only if we know about it.
If you know about it.
And I don't see how parents are getting away with not sending their child to school. It's abhorrent.
It happens, as you know.
Yes.
It happens way more often than it should.
Yeah, so it keeps the cycle going. it keeps the cycle going. And I'm not shunning it because it helps provide my livelihood.
Yeah.
But still, if we could address some of those factors and things of that sort here in the city, I think we would get a better turnout.
With that being said, if Dr. V came up to you and was like, Rick, I need some help. We need to address our special needs alternative schools within the city of Detroit. What changes would you make if you had an opportunity to have real impact?
Wow, that's
with an open checkbook. What changes would you make to address that issue within our city?
Now, I must break down your question.
Yeah.
You said alternative schools.
Yes.
And we only have one.
Yeah.
Which is the one where I'm at.
Yeah.
The other schools are regular schools, but like we have a school for kids who are emotionally impaired, who are they can't be educated in a regular ed. They have to be in this closed off school. We have another school for kids who are cognitively impaired. If most of your audience don't know, they changed the terms. Cognitive impairment is the new word for mental retardation. So it's called now cognitively impaired. If it's severe, then they're educated in another school so that they can get the type of attention that they need that we won't be able to provide it in a regular school. So we have an orthopedic school. There are many kids who are wheelchair bound. Some of them, but by law, we have to educate them. And so there's a school for them. We have a school for deaf and hard of hearing, vision impaired. There's a whole school for that. So they get the special attention that they need. In the public schools, it's deemed that, with the type of supports that we give in the resource room, kids should be able to survive in a gen ed classroom. That is now why they have most of the ESC or special ed. They're now in a classroom. And my job is to go to the classroom and provide service there. Along so that they're not pulled out from their friends. But then that poses a whole nother problem. I don't need no help. Because many of them know who I am. But we try to be tactful. And we not only go to that child, but we go to every other child too and push in. So, but now I hope I didn't stray too far. But to get back.
No, because you need to know the difference.
Yeah, you got
when it comes to the classifications, definitely.
So for my school, I would truly say I would like to see co-teaching more. And that is what my principal wants us to do, but we're still far away from it because of the workload we have, the workload they have. And teachers are some of the most like, this is mine, I'm not sharing it. Really, teachers are like that. So we have to, I would say we need more courses on co-teaching, especially for the ESC teachers that push into these classrooms. We have to get the mindset with the teachers that we're not there to overtake your class. We're there to help as a co-teacher. Yes, we could use more money. Yes, the building that we in needs some repairs. It's we're still able, we get heat, it has AC, tons of bathrooms and everything, but like we have a pool, can't use it. But that's deep funding, and I don't think they would ever do that because of the threat of drowning.
Because of the student population? Or just in general, the threat of drowning?
I would say, because of what happened a couple of years ago, where that kid drowned. I don't want to put it, that's the reason why they're not fixing it. But we have to, everything goes back to funding. More kids, more money. But we have a small population, and, even it impacts teacher employment. If we drop below a certain amount of kids, then the principal has to say, I got to let 2 of you go. And they'll try to find you another place throughout the district.
Yeah.
But, you're happy where you're at.
What's your number of students you have in your school now?
We average, I'm going to say about 400. 400, but that's and that didn't even dig deep into the pot of kids that are out there that need to come to our school. Some of them are still in the high school struggling, getting suspended, into trouble, doing things like that. But they do a sweep now, every year, a sweep. And if they determine that there's a high school kid that's not succeeding, we're going to direct you to Detroit Lions Academy so you can get your credits caught up. But now you got to understand now, these kids were in Pershing and doing all they stuff. And then sometimes they come to our school and want to do the same thing. And it's culture shock.
Yeah.
Because no, you can't do that here.
Yeah.
You're here to get your credits.
Yeah.
And for those that can't make it, well, they're shown the door.
Yeah. It's definitely something.
It is. Now to add something else to what they're saying, to address that, I would say what Dr. Vitti is doing now. In our school, it's the old Murray Wright.
Yep.
So we're not using, I don't even think we're using 50% of the building.
Okay.
So, but what he's done is he's allowed another school. So we have adult ed in another wing of the school.
Okay.
And then we have, I forget the name of it, but it's for GED. So we do say, okay, well, you didn't make it on our side, but you're eligible to go over here to get your GED. So that's 2 good things that's going on.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Okay. So there's definitely strides.
Being made. Yes. He's looking into it, but more needs to be done. But again, everything impacts everything.
Yeah.
Everything. So you either have to roll with the punches and try to smooth it out and make things right the best way you can. It's a struggle.
If you could leave the audience with one thought, and all that we've talked about in this conversation, what would it be?
I don't know. I enjoy life. This is life, and I'm trying to make the best of it. And we didn't even get into what I put on the paper.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna have a part 2.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling happy to do this. I mean, I've never done anything like this. I can't wait to see how it turns out, but I'm happy. I really am. And I haven't been that way in a long time. And so I'm happy. I feel, like you said, I'm enough. I ain't got to do nothing else extra. And I know that may be off topic from what we were talking about, but that was what was on my mind.
It opens the door to part 2. Stay tuned for the next episode of Strength in My Story.